What is popping, people, and welcome back to another tattoo artist breakdown. Now, I know you love these, I love doing them, but if you are new around here, what is tattoo artist breakdown? Well, tattoo artist breakdown is when I take some of the world's best leading tattoo artists, have a look at their work, and try to break down the techniques that they have used to achieve these particular tattoos that they have done. As always, I must point out that these breakdowns are done at face value. I have never ever spoke to the artist, I've never talked to the artist, I've never even crossed the artist in passing and gave him the little like, alright? It is literally done on face value of the first probably like top 9 pictures of their Instagram. If you are new around here or you are a returning viewer but you still haven't subscribed, why the f not? You must subscribe right now. These breakdowns, I have 10 years of experience and I don't see anyone else doing these breakdowns on YouTube. Unless this takes off and then everybody will be doing them on YouTube. So anyway, subscribe. Now I've rabbited on for long enough. So who is the artist that we are given the pleasure to be broke down on this channel today? Well, that is going to be daniluztattoo. But you already know that. So it's kind of useless information really, since you've just, read the title. So here we are yet again at the PC. So having a quick look. So this is daniluztattoo, aka Daniel Luzardo. He's based in Miami, in Los Angeles. And there's his website right there if you want to go check him out or even potentially book with him. Who knows? Now looking at the top 9, let's go with the top 9. You know what? Let's not look at the top 9 yet. Let's just carry on. Let's go down a little bit. Dudes, oh my god, look at this one. Yeah, man, the guy he genuinely looks like a campaign ad for Calvin Klein. Or some fashion brand. What a guy. What a guy. And FYI though, that tattoo is clean. That is so clean. That almost looks fake. Anyway, let's go down a little bit more. Oh dude, yeah, he's on it, man. He's on these Calvin Klein ads. He is on it. He looks like a sexier version of Jason Momoa. I would do this guy. I'm not even that way, but I would do this guy. Alright, so quickly getting into the top of his feed. As you can see, he is an opaque guy. Now I've had a look through his actual feed and I don't really see that much black and grey, as in grey wash. He's definitely more of your opaque guy. Mainly based around portraits. You've got your dog portraits, you've got your your human portraits. You've got you got a religious portrait right there, but he's definitely based around faces and whatnot. Right, now let's get in there and have a closer look. I'm going to be breaking these down into 4 fundamentals: lines, shading, saturation, and texture. So getting in there with this lion, 1, wow, absolutely incredible. It's just an incredible tattoo. The placement of it, the opaques in it, the way that he's not just done the head, he's done the entire body of the lion walking forward. It's just phenomenal. Even the, you know, the contrast and the tones that's in this lion, where he's got the dark underbelly, it's got the lighter outsides around here, and then he's got the darker face and stuff. Like it all just makes sense for a tattoo. This is what I would consider a perfect reference. So let's get in there, let's have a closer look. So lines, as you can see, it looks kinda liney. If I was to point out what are potentially definite lines, I would say you've got these bits around here in the fur, where you've got this line coming down here, lines going up here. You've also got this like shading, this texture in here. Those are potentially lines around here also, but it kind of looks like that he could have used a round shader, potentially maybe a 5 or a 7, but you know, it's hard to tell. I can only tell from looking at the texture, and to me it's not dense enough to be a line, and it definitely looks more like round shaders. Like I said, you do have potential lines in there. There is little bits what could possibly pass as a line. However, I do feel like it has been done more with round shaders because it is nice and soft. Going across to this dog portrait, so here we have, again, looks like a round shader. That does not look like lines to me. It definitely looks more like round shaders. You've also got the direction going over here, which is potentially round shader and then shading put over the top. Possibly used mag on side. Highly doubt though. I do think, again, it has been done with round shaders. Down here has definitely been done with a mag though. Any lines on this one? Potentially around the eyes. It's potentially just lined around the eyes because the eye is nice and sharp. You can get the eyes nice and sharp with a round shader. I'm not saying you can't, but to me, this cries line more than round shader. Now going on to the next one, the lines in this one. So clearly, he has lined the eyebrows. He's lined the direction of the eyebrows, and then he looks like he's shaded over the top. The eyebrows definitely remind me of a cosmetic eyebrow, like how you would go and get your eyebrows done if you was to have them tattooed by a cosmetic tattoo artist. That's the kind of feel I get from these eyebrows. Whether he's purposely done it like that, I do not know, but that's the feel I get from him. But those are definitely lined in, those single strands. He's also lined in the eyelashes by the looks of it. Potential like line coming round underneath this eye. Doesn't look to have lined the hair. There's a few potential like lines in the hair which could have been done with a liner. Up in this top corner, you've got one coming down here, and then you've got one slightly coming down this side of the hair. But these potentially liners with a really light wash, and his machine running really a lot slower because they're not as, you know, they're not as prominent. So there's definitely lines in the hair, but I think that's majority all done shading, to be honest. Maybe some round shadering. Now going on to the next one. Again, the eyebrows, you can see the lines in those eyebrows, and you can see the lines. There's maybe a line underneath this eye here. On this one, it doesn't look like the eyelashes are lined as much. It just, like, you've got this bottom bit coming down here, which is potentially lined, but it doesn't look like these are lined in. Either, again, round shader or mag on side. But so to me, it doesn't look like Dani Luz really uses that many lines compared to, let's say, Fred Tattoo, who we did on the first breakdown. He is definitely more of a mag guy and uses lines just when necessary. So now going back onto this one, let's go on to shading and saturation. Now the shading on this is smooth as hell. It's smooth as hell on this one also. Now, as always, we do have to be wary of any, editing that could have gone on, any smoothing that might have gone on after the fact of the tattoo in a post-production process. But again, we're taking this at face value, so it looks to be smooth as butter. It's so smooth. Again, it's so smooth around here. I love the way that he's done the hair on this. I really do love the way it looks. Like this is a portrait of a woman underwater. That's the vibe I get from this one. I'm sure going further down he might have a full picture of it, and it might have sharks above or something like that, but I get the feel of an underwater portrait from this with the way all the air is flowing across the face. But yeah, smoothness on this also brilliant. Saturation is just awesome. Now, speaking about saturation, as you can see, the entire tattoo is very well saturated, apart from his light sources, which he leaves little skin breaks. But if you look closely, I don't even think there's a skin break there. I just think it's a really light tone, especially over these cheeks and this forehead. I think this is a completely saturated portrait. Maybe you can make an argument for this bit down here and just some little bits in these cheeks, but for the most part, it looks very well saturated. Now, coming back onto the lion, as you can see, he's very well saturated on that. There's definite skin breaks in this one. He's not gone full 100% saturation on this one. You can definitely see the skin breaks around this mouth area, in this bit, around the eyes. The skin breaks in the mane also. So yeah, he's not gone as much on this one, but the saturation is absolutely spot on. Again, shading, man, it's just super smooth. It is super smooth. Getting close in is, you're hard pressed to see any needle marks or anything like that. Now, if it was a lion like this and you did have needle marks in it, it's not gonna be detrimental to the portrait or anything like that, because those needle marks could add to the texture of the piece. So you don't need it, but he has got the texture in through his round shader, his liner, his mag and stuff. But this type of shading is when you can't get away with that. You cannot have needle marks on a face. It just doesn't look great. The portrait itself might look absolutely incredible, and it's only on closer inspection that you can see needle marks. But for me, if it's a face, if it's cheeks, if it's nose, if anything like this, it needs to be smooth, and he absolutely nails it. So obviously we touched on texture when we was talking about lines, but let's get right in there and let's break that texture down fully. You can see the texture. It's very obvious. You can't not see the texture, but you can also see the direction of the texture. Every single realism artist that we have broke down has one thing in common when it comes to tattooing texture, and that is direction. So you can see the direction of the hair on this right side coming up to the left, and you can see it on the left coming up to the right, following up the center of the nose. Over this way you can see it comes over to the right, this bit here over to the right, and then on this bit round here you can see it coming upwards, almost curving up and to the right also. So now moving on to the texture on this dog. All this down here, the bottom left, is definitely mag. That has got to be mag. Coming upwards here, potentially mag in this little bit. It's hard to see because of the way that he's took the picture. I think the picture is definitely done on a DSLR or mirrorless camera because of the blurriness around the edges. It seems like he's put his focus point here on maybe a 2.8 aperture, maybe a 1.4 aperture, and then he's took the picture which has blurred out all the edges of this dog. If he's not done it like that, then there's a Gaussian blur filter over the top of it, but I can't see why you'd do that. So yeah, it's hard to see, but this is definitely all mag work up here in my opinion. Again, direction. The direction is everywhere. You can see the direction of every single bit of fur on this piece. Where it separates the hair on the ear, where that is a different direction from this bit here. This bit is a different direction from this bit here. This bit is a different direction from this bit here. So you can see that. You can clearly see that. For the texture on this one, you can see the texturing in the lips, the little dots, and the obviously lip cracks that he's put in. They're not super prominent, but there's enough to suggest that they are there, which is really good. If he was to go in and use a liner on lips, again, it would be too dark. Even if he went in and did a lighter tone, I use the Insta range by Silverback. So if I was to go in those lips and I was to line it in on a 4, that would be too dark. That would be too dark for those lips. So I feel like potentially mag on side on those bits, like touching the corner of that mag. There's these around here which looked to be like freckles. Those again look like they've been done with a mag, to be honest. Now going back to the nun portrait right here, the texture in the lips, as you can see, they've got texture in the eyebrows, which we've already spoke about. We've got some texture up on this top headdress bit. I don't know what you'd call that because I'm not a nun or part of a convent or anything. Pretty simple stuff on this one texture wise. Round shader on mag, and then obviously we pretty much figured out that that's lines with shading on top. So but yes, that is texture. So as a quick assess of Daniel Luzardo's work, he is an incredible tattoo artist. He doesn't seem to primarily base his work around lines. He uses lines when necessary, especially in those eyebrows and especially on those eyelashes. Texture wise, he seems to use round shaders a lot more than he uses lines for texture. His shading is smooth, his saturation is good, leaving minimal skin breaks. He is a freaking awesome artist, and he uses opaques. For those people that have not used opaques, they are a lot harder to use than normal grey wash. So if you want to go off and use those, I highly recommend you do try them at least once, but get ready because using opaques is a completely different experience from grey wash. But guys, that is all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown. Next breakdown will be coming in a month's time, maybe. So get ready for that one. Again, if you are new around here, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to join my Patreon, you can do that. Link is in the description, where you will get added benefits from me. But guys, I shall see you all in the next video. Peace.